Hi, this is Pat Pitt from Higher Heights Ministry, and I just wanted to come on and do a recap of our last session in our series Talking Up Tuesday that we did on Bathsheba. So just doing just a few little sections just to give you guys some ideas about what we talked about. I hope you would start to join us. We meet on every second Tuesday in the daytime at 10:30, starting in March, and then at night at 7 o'clock p.m. on Zoom. And we've had quite a bit of participation and just a really great time. So this is just a quick recap that I'm doing just to give you some idea of what we've been learning about. And so we've been looking at Bathsheba, and her story is found in First Samuel chapters 11 and 12. We're all familiar with her stories, also found in First Kings. And so what we spent some time talking about was um, the actions of Bathsheba and the actions of David. And you can read about all about those in my book, Women of the Bible Seated on the Edge of Tomorrow. I think that would be on page 32. You can see it, Bathsheba's actions, and you can see David's action. And so what we spent some time talking about was we were looking at some defining moments for Bathsheba, where we showed some vulnerability on her behalf. Did she have a choice when the king called her to come there? We talked about her loss, that she lost her innocence, of course. She got pregnant, she lost her baby. And then, of course, even before that, of course, she lost her husband. So there was a lot of loss for her. But in the end, she ended up being an advocate. She had a lot of influence, and we spent some time talking about that. We talked about the fact that she was connected to Christ, and that she was the mother of Solomon. And it was interesting that um, when Matthew talked about her, he listed her as Bathsheba, the wife of Uzziah. So we spent some time talking about why did God list her as the wife of Uzziah rather than the wife of David. So that was really interesting. And then we spent some time looking at her attributes, how she was called. She was on the rooftop minding her own business, and the king called her, and little did she know that that was going to affect her entire life. We talked about that her commitment to her son. We talked about her conversion, the fact that she went from being a victim to an advocate for other victims. We talked about the courage that she had, how she had the courage to go to the king, tell the king she was having a baby. She demonstrated courage when she faced David on his deathbed and said, "You made a promise, you got to keep your promise." We talked about clarity, the fact that she had clear understanding about who she was and who her son was and what God was calling them to be. And so it was just really a great session. And we asked questions like, if you could go back and change some things in your life, what would you change? So these were some really good things that we talked about. We talked about, again, vulnerability and power, that she was an advocate, that she had influence, that she demonstrated God's grace in her life. And we spent some time reflecting on brokenness. Her life was certainly a life of brokenness. And then we spent quite a bit of time talking about conditions. Spent some time talking about conditions. And so some of her conditions was that she became pregnant outside of her marriage. She became a widow. She became a mother. She became a childless mother because she lost her child. She became the wife of a king. Then she became a wife of a dying king. She became a spokesperson for the promise of a future king. She became the mother of the wisest and richest king. She became one of the four women that's mentioned in the lineage of Jesus Christ. And she was listed as the wife of a dead soldier and not the wife of a king. So it was really good. We spent a great bit of time talking about that, talking about how God can manifest himself in your life, how your life can change, how you can be seated on the edge of tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. She was taking a bath on a rooftop. She didn't know that the king was looking at her and that the king was going to call her, and that whole life changed. And so she showed some resilience. She showed courage. She showed just an instinct of survival. she showed, again, clarity about what was supposed to happen with her son. She sort of stood as an advocate, certainly, for her son Solomon. So she was just really great, just a great person to look at, a great person to study. And if you don't have my book, I think most of you do have it. If you don't have it, you can get it at Amazon. You can get it from me. And you can read more about Bathsheba and how she is an important person for us to look at as we're seated on the edge of tomorrow, and as we're making the decisions that God is calling us to make, just like He used Bathsheba in such a great way. So God bless you. Just a quick recap. We're not recording the sessions just because the sessions are very conversational with a lot of personal information, and we want to keep that within that group. So we're not recording those. I'll just come on and give a recap. But if you're interested, you can click the link. You can fill out the form. You can join. You can join us on Tuesdays, every second Tuesday at 10:30 here in Lawrence, or you can join us online at Zoom. No cost. It's absolutely free. Just a gift that I have, and I love sharing it. God bless you. We'll see you next time when we come back to talk about Esther and Vashti. Esther and Vashti. God bless.